Hey, I'm Philip. Welcome to the Hobby Shop. I'm here with,
Don.
and we're going to be looking at, I don't know, networks, comparing them to how they were when we were kids. We're primarily talking about like stuff that kids watch today, mostly like your Cartoon Networks, Nickelodeon, and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, they also watch Comedy Central. Does that fit into the mix? Or are we talking more for younger?
Yeah, I didn't start watching Comedy Central until like 2006.
How old were you during that time?
16.
Around 16. So I watched it when I know I watched it when I was either 12 or 14.
Okay.
And
So you probably just watched it earlier than I did. Like you just probably caught it like 2004 or something.
Well, I mean, that's because my cousin would sit there and talking about Comedy Central a lot. He was sitting there talking about South Park a lot. He was a huge South Park fanatic.
Yeah.
And every day it always made Cartman.
I can't I can't really compare and contrast this because I didn't watch any. Like the current version of it is the one I'm most familiar with. I'm not really familiar with how it was like say 10, 15 years ago.
So back when Dave Chappelle, the old South Park, the watchable South Park, is like what I like to say.
I don't know. South Park's still watchable for me. I can still watch it.
To me, it just felt like you got Family Guy syndrome, where it's just like, let's be offensive.
No. Family Guy got South Park. It wasn't like that before. When they tried to be more South Park-ish, that's when it started to go downhill, at least for me.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, but I don't know. Family Guy kind of went downhill around season 3. They still get a funny episode here and there, but.
Well, yeah. Moving on.
Well, anyway, it's just kind of interesting to see how networks have changed. Like I said, we're going to mostly stick with stuff we watched when we were kids and comparing how they are today. But we'll also look at other networks and stuff like that, just as, along the way.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you say they've changed drastically to what people have said before? So a lot of people have addressed and said that these channels are not the same channels I grew up with.
A lot of times, it's nostalgia for a lot of people. So if anything is remotely different, they'll complain about it. But the only one I can really say has like dramatically changed would be the Disney Channel. I have not watched Disney Channel since, I don't know, when was That So Raven was on? When was that?
I didn't watch Disney.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay. It was around 2000, 2001. So I haven't watched it in a long time. But anytime I watch it, it's just nothing but like shitty sitcoms. Basically, vehicles for new teen idols and stuff like that. Like your Miley Cyrus's and stuff like that. And I know it's been a while. That's been a while for her. But
I've heard they've got 2 decent cartoons. Gravity
Falls.
And is Phineas and Ferb on?
Phineas and Ferb, yeah. I've never watched Phineas and Ferb, so I don't know on that one.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to watch. I haven't been able to watch.
One I've actually found to be really oddly amusing. I'm not going to say it's it's great or anything, but it's just amusing. It's a show called Wander Over Yonder. I don't know, it just has this kind of innocence to it where it's just really likable.
Well, when was this?
This is recent. I want to say about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Wander Over Yonder sounds very familiar, but
yeah. But it was a decent show. Gravity Falls, I have not watched a whole lot of, but from what I've seen is really good. And I don't know. Some people have said that if they have more shows like this, we might get back to that era of some really great kids shows and stuff like that. I don't know. You're going to have to do a lot because you're talking about like a lot of people are talking about an era of like back in the days of DuckTales and Gummy Bears and Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot. You're going to need a lot of good shows to kind of match that. But the channel, I don't know. It's just whenever I turn it on, it's something like Wizards or whatever place, and just these shitty sitcoms are not funny at all.
But for some reason, they're really bringing those views.
Yeah, kids love them, I guess. Though I'll give one show credit. This one's a couple years old. I don't know if it's still on there because I don't keep up with this channel. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody Legend wasn't too bad. I don't know. I didn't watch a whole lot of it. I saw like a few episodes of it. And really half the time is when I was like, half the time if I would have saw it, it would have been like at Mr. Getty's or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It was okay. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. I mean, I feel like there was better sitcoms from this channel. It's hard to say because I have seen such little of this channel since 2001. But I feel like they got some good shows, but otherwise it's just shitty sitcoms. Just from what little I've seen of it. If anybody listening here thinks I'm wrong, just throw in some shows you think are good from there. But I think really the only good ones of note is the ones we already listed. Phineas and Ferb and Gravity Falls. Which, I don't know. Oh, somebody told me once that they were actually having like Marvel superheroes show up on Phineas and Ferb.
Well, I thought they were doing superhero shows. I thought Disney was doing that.
I don't know. If they have, I haven't seen it.
Cause I could have sworn I saw a cartoon.
But isn't Nickelodeon still showing Marvel stuff?
See, this is the problem when you're out of the loop. It's hard to be like, oh yeah, it is. But
okay, right now I know Disney owns Marvel.
Yeah.
So I don't know how shows owned by Universal could be. I don't know how shows owned by Disney could be shown on a Universal network. As far as I know, Nickelodeon is still owned by Universal, but I don't know how that works. But speaking of which, Nickelodeon. How do you feel that it's changed? I have not kept up with it. There's a few shows I've seen here and there, but otherwise I haven't really kept up with it.
Well, I mean, from the Nickelodeon I watched, or bits of it, because like I said, I watch Cartoon Network a lot. I only changed. Well, how much did I watch of Nickelodeon? I know I've seen bits of Rugrats. I've seen bits of Cat Dog.
So you're talking about
like very few.
You're talking like 99, 2000 era period.
Yeah, because this is like the only thing I remember from Nickelodeon.
Do you remember Invader Zim?
I want to say I've seen it, but I know I've seen it recently because I looked up online because a friend recommended it for me to watch it, but I don't know if I saw it when I was younger, and if I did, it was probably just like a very little of it.
I don't know what happened to this, but I think it's a document on my computer. But I wrote down the different periods of Nickelodeon. I can't really remember what they were, but I know like Generation 1 was like Rugrats. Generation 2 would have been something like Rocko's Modern Life, and
oh, that's where Rocko's was during 1.
No, it was more Generation 2.
What all did 1 have?
Rugrats was about it. Well, if you're talking cartoons, that was about it. Maybe Doug, but I'm not sure. But, and again, I'm going off memory, and I wrote this shit down like a year ago. So, I can't quite remember all the generations. If I thought about this before, I would have had Don grab my laptop so I could have pulled this stuff up. I had to save them documents. But the Nickelodeon I grew up with was, we're talking early mid '90s to the late '90s. Basically throughout the 90s, that's when I watched Nickelodeon the most. From Rugrats to Doug to Our Real Monsters to Rocko's Modern Life to Hey Arnold to fucking Rocket Power and Invader Zim, Chalk Zone.
And a lot of these names you're saying are very familiar. And this is what I want to say. I want to say I've seen these. I know I've probably seen some of these, but I've only seen very little of them to where I don't really know if I have or if I'm just lying to myself and saying I have.
I'm just gonna assume you have seen these shows, and you just can't remember. There's plenty of shows I don't remember watching. Like I didn't know I watched Pokemon when I was a kid. Apparently, I did. I'm trying to think of some others. Now, how do you think Nickelodeon's changed from what you've seen from it recently?
Let's see. I haven't really watched Nickelodeon recently. I know their biggest thing was Avatar.
Yeah, and that was a few years ago.
Yeah, Avatar and Legend of
Korra.
Korra? Is it Korra or Korra?
Korra. At least that's how I've heard it pronounced. Legend of Korra, isn't that still on?
Like I said, we're so far out of the loop, we don't know this.
Yeah.
We don't have channels, so it's hard to really say to see where these channels have made progression. But
I'm actually gonna turn my TV on and see if they're actually showing anything. Keep talking. This might take me a few minutes.
But in my opinion of how Nickelodeon has changed, like I said, I haven't watched it enough to really make a strong statement. But from what I've heard other people say, it apparently has gone downhill. I've heard people say that the only thing that's keeping it afloat is SpongeBob, and even SpongeBob itself isn't even that good.
Yeah. I'm gonna mute that. All right. Keep talking. This, like I said, it's gonna take me a little bit.
And the most recent thing I've been watching this reviewer who's been reviewing Nickelodeon, and apparently the shows they have on there now are so bad. What was the one I said to you recently? Chum Chum
and Fanboy Chum
Chum. Yeah,
that was terrible.
Yeah.
I've only seen like 10 minutes of the show, but there's something we forgot. Right.
Oh, wow.
Very Odd Parents. Apparently, they're still showing that. I'm just on regular Nickelodeon. But yeah, that was one I forgot about. Was Very Odd Parents. It actually wasn't. I hear a lot of people say the show actually wasn't that good. I don't know. I freaking loved it when I was a kid. I say I was a kid, but I was like 11, 12.
I watched bits. Again, bits. So I can't really come to a full developed opinion of it. I'm just like, it's watchable for me.
The jokes can get pretty weird. I don't know about it recently because I have not watched it in like 10 years. So apparently there's something about like there's a baby on it now. Like
I'm surprised it's still going. If it is going.
I think it is, because I still get I get emails about it almost every day. What do you think of Very Odd Parents? What do you think of Very Odd Parents and stuff like that? I haven't really talked about it before, just because I don't really know what to say. It's good. It's a good show. A lot of creative jokes and stuff like that. One of my favorite episodes, and this, I don't know when this episode was done, but it was a whole episode just making fun of the internet. And I can't remember what it was. I think Timmy was tired of being treated like a kid, so he wanted to live in. Oh, I'm thinking of 2 different episodes, I think.
Are you saying when he becomes an adult? That's the one I've watched.
There's that one, but I'm talking about like he goes into like different TV shows and stuff like that. And I swear the internet has something to do with this episode, but I might be confusing with a different episode. I just remember, I might as well mention it, in that internet episode, joke I thought was hysterical was that teacher trying to find out, trying to
Very Odd Parents.
Anyway,
The guy
his like head would pop off and stuff like
yeah.
that. One of my favorite jokes is he's on the computer, he's trying to like get on the internet, and he's waiting for it to load. And this is back when people still had dial-up and stuff like that. So it was this little meter loading, and he's like, yes, 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 and the meter goes back. I think he grabs the computer or something like that. That's just something I remember. But the episode I'm talking about, they made fun of. This might have been like a special or something like this. They made fun of Johnny Quest. They made fun of Dragon Ball Z. I'm pretty sure they made fun of I'm pretty sure they made fun of Pokemon. I'm trying to remember what else they made fun of. You know, anime in general. Just I don't know. The jokes were going all over the place. And you know what? The show creates this world where all this wacky shit can happen because, you know, fairy godparents and all that. What was the evil babysitter's name?
Vicky.
Vicky?
God, how do I know this? I only watched a few episodes.
Maybe you watched more of it than you thought.
Maybe.
Like, keep in mind, I've said before, and I know next to nothing about Pokemon, but I know Ash, Misty, Brock, Jesse, James. I know those names, probably because my cousin watched it a lot. So even if it's stuff you barely watch, you're still going to remember stuff. Yeah. Again, like I said, I don't know really what to say about Fairy Odd Parents. It wasn't one of my favorite shows. I think at the time it was airing at the same time as Invader Zim. You know, I was way more into that show than I was Fairy Odd Parents. Mostly because it was just fucking deranged.
Yeah, Invader Zim was pretty fucked up for a kid's cartoon.
I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, let me steal kids' organs.
Yeah, that was a fucking terrifying episode.
Yeah, this is completely okay.
I don't know how they get. Well, apparently they did. The show got canceled. But I was like, how are they getting away with this shit? My favorite. We might as well talk about this night. Invader Zim. My favorite episode. 3 of my favorite episodes from Invader Zim was it was a parody of you know those TV shows where they talk about like supposed alien encounters and stuff like that. It was a parody of that, of those kind of shows, where it was basically Dib trying to prove Zim exists, but they like had to they interviewed like his dad, his sister, they interviewed Gurr. This guy has Dib and Zib just sitting there, and he's trying to like figure out their issues. And I don't know, I just love that episode. Another one is, I think it's the first episode I love. Just every joke in that first episode just worked. My favorite little bit in that entire episode is the Arnold Schwarzenegger ice cream truck. It's just, it sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger on like a megaphone, but it's just like, you love ice cream, you love it, you will buy. It's just, I can't do an Austrian accent at all, but it just imagine that in Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice. It's like Robo Schwarzenegger. It's just, I don't know. I thought just the idea of of an ice cream truck hypnotizing kids, what they kind of do. Oh, is that even a thing anymore?
What, ice cream trucks? Yeah.
Ice cream trucks?
Yeah, we got one here in town.
Okay. No, we just got the one in town.
Yeah, just the one.
The one. Oh God. I'm just curious. Did you ever go to the ice cream trucks?
No.
You never did? I remember when I was a kid, I would, you hear that music, all the kids just go ape shit, and they all basically bum rush the Ice cream truck. Remember that episode of Hey Arnold where they were? It was career day, and I think Arnold got stuck with this angry ice cream truck driver.
No, there's not a whole lot of, like I said, I know I watched Hey Arnold.
The kids the kids got angry, so they start to try to tip over the ice cream truck. That's basically what it was like. Because kids would be running all from the neighborhood out on the street, that's like waving money in their hand, running after this. You know that's the best way to get kids. That's the best way for kids to exercise. Have the fat kid chase the ice cream truck. I shouldn't make fun because I was that fat kid, but still. I don't know why, just something about the ice cream truck was just so alluring to children.
Yeah, the only thing I remember from Hey Arnold was the Pigeon Man episode.
That is a fucking great episode. But we'll talk about that next. Let me finish on Invader Zim. But yeah, just the banter between Bib and, I think I'm saying his name right. I think it's Bib.
I don't know.
I'm not asking you. I'm just saying I think it's Bib.
Okay.
Jeez. But when he's pointing at Zim, saying, "Look at him. He's clearly an alien. Look at his green skin." He's like, "I have a skin condition," or something like that.
I never really got out the cartoon. I was like, why does no one ever really question his... Like, only one character was like,
well,
yeah.
it's Dib, or whatever his name is. And nobody likes Dib. No one pays attention to him, so basically if he says it, it's bullshit. And I just love it, that this kid is the bad guy just because he's right. And, it's just, to everybody else, he's just some
annoying...
Just some annoying brat that won't leave this kid alone. And it's just, I don't know, something. Oh god, the voice actor who did the voice of Invader of Zim, he's also Dak from the Angry Beavers. He's Billy from Billy and Mandy. I can't remember this actor's name, but perfect for this role. It's just the whole I don't know, some of the just some of these weird lines, like and some things he would call humans, like I think there was an episode where he winds up in a preschool, and it's the most terrifying thing ever. By the way, another thing that this show is great at is taking something innocent and making it look repulsing. Take something like they made fun of Chuck E. Cheese, and it was the most depressing, most demented, just nightmare-filled chamber. I don't know what to call it. You ever play that game Five Nights at Freddy's?
Mm-mm.
It's that.
Oh.
It is basically that.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it, so yeah.
Just like the dilapidated animatronics and stuff like that. Everything looks crazy. Everything looks crazy and
because I'm trying to think of it like, trying to see, Five Nights in a Zim style. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I can see what you're going at now.
Yeah. It was such a demented scene. And another favorite episode of mine is the mall episode. Again, taking something that's okay,
mediocre and
just taking something that nobody really thinks about and just making it like the mall from hell. Just like, I think there's a guy like in the fetal position talking about like, I think he had something like post-traumatic stress from everybody asking him if I could find something for you or something like that. You know how people are like at Walmart and other places. It's like, can I help you out, sir? He's like in the fetal position. He's like, no, I can find it myself. He's just in the corner crying.
Yeah, and speaking of, Zim and stuff, it had a very interesting art style.
Yeah, this comes from, I hate when this happens. I don't have my phone on me, so I can't look it up. Think you can quietly look it up on the computer?
No.
You can't do it quietly?
No.
Okay. um, the I can't remember his name, but he made a comic book called Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and you think Invader Zim is dark? No, this is a whole nother level. Basically, take Invader Zim with no network restraints.
Oh.
With no restraint.
I think that's actually one of those shows that probably needed a restraint.
Yeah, but I think because it has those restraints, that's why it was so demented. That's why I think that's why so many people loved it, just because it was a kids show.
It was a kids show, but it was really fucked up for a kids show.
Yeah, and the thing though is, it was legitimately funny. Just bits like where Dib calls like preschoolers like human. I think he calls them human maggot bags, human maggot bags or something like that. Or he calls them some like repulsive name. I don't know, just.
I think we need to get back onto the channel.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of the nature of the beast. When we talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, when we talk about shows that we have, or we end up liking, and we're like, oh yeah, we remember how much we like that. Let's keep going on and how much more we like it.
I got no problem with it.
Yeah, me either.
But Hey Arnold, another one. A lot of people don't care for it. I've met a lot of people who didn't care for the show because they thought it was bland, it was boring, because people wanted, more Ren and Stimpy and Our Real Monsters and stuff like that. They wanted more wacky, just more wacky, zany stuff. This was more subdued, and it's one of my favorite shows. I mean, just so many great episodes. The Pigeon Man one's a great one. And I like how the show is kind of silly, but doesn't go too far. Sometimes it does. The Mole King. The guy living in the sewers. It's like, really? This guy exists? And, I don't know, they kind of made Hey Arnold kind of realistic at times. But then there's just weird episodes. Like I said, the Mole King episode. The train from hell. I don't know what that episode was called, but it literally was a train from hell. Arnold's grandpa describes hell. Like fire, brimstone, and shit.
Sounds like something I really should watch. I feel a little sad not really watching it.
Very Odd Parents is still on the TV. It's the episode where Timmy wishes every day was Christmas. Good episode. But anyway. Speaking of Christmas, I think Hey Arnold has one of the best Christmas episodes. It's so good. Just the idea that you're focusing on three characters and all of them connect, all the stories connect at the end, and just seeing like, I don't know, some people like Helga actually like doing something nice, like giving up her selfish wants and actually, is selfless for once, and it's just, I don't know. You can do this with a lot of shows, but it just really
seemed like it did it right.
It just worked, and it even almost brings a tear to the eye at the end of the episode. And I think that's the mark of a great Christmas special, was when you get that that Christmas feeling, and even almost make you cry. I think that's the hallmark of a great Christmas special, even though I don't know although that one's hilarious. The Very Odd Parents one. Just clarifying the people listening. But anyway, another great episode was, who was the clumsy kid? The kid who was like accident prone. Eugene or something?
Why are you asking this? I only saw bids. I don't. All I can remember is the kid who would be behind Helga who goes,
oh God, I forgot about him. Okay, you can stop. That kid was fucking creepy. I think there was an episode where he actually had a line. It's just that, I don't know, that was great joke.
I can only remember, Football Head and Mr. Guy with the Afro. I can't remember their names, but those are the two characters I can remember.
Yeah, all of their heads looked like some kind of shape. Either it being fruit or be it fruit or like footballs and stuff like that. But I'm trying to remember some other good episodes. The clumsy kid in the show, he idolized this big. This character was basically Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was like, I don't know. He had some name like the Terminator, but it wasn't Terminator. It was like Eradicator, not Eradicator. Anyway, he was supposed to be this big movie hero, this big movie star. He was, action movie hero and stuff like that. And Eugene looked up to this guy, and well, he basically sees his idol act like a whining brat. He's deflated because his hero's not like what he is in the movies.
That's why you never meet your idols.
Donna.
Yep, you never meet your idols.
By the way, the end of the episode, and again, the end of the episode comes around really nice. Just the guy who's pretending to be a hero on TV and in movies and stuff like that actually saves the kid and all that. And I think Eugene goes into this like emo thing for a little while, where he's like trying to be the bad kid or whatever. And I'm pretty sure his name was Eugene. I'm just assuming. But anyway, Hey Arnold was a great show. They had a lot of good shows from Rugrats and stuff like that. So I don't know. From somebody who doesn't really watch it, I could say it's definitely changed.
And when did you stop watching Nickelodeon? When would you say?
Around when stuff like Chalk Zone was coming on. Chalk Zone, there were Butt Ugly Aliens or something like that. Butt Ugly Martians. Men in Black the series and all that. Which I think was already on TV before that, but they just brought it to Nickelodeon. Whenever like Butt Ugly Martians was on, that's kind of when I stopped watching. I remember watching a lot of the game shows. I was a huge fan of Legends of the Hidden Temple. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Legends of the Hidden Temple was this game show where you had groups of these kids in groups of two, and they were always like the the Silver Barracudas and which had to be the coolest name ever, Silver Barracuda. But then you had like the Yellow Seahorses and the Red Monkeys and stuff like that. They would have to answer riddles and stuff like that. And by the way, they would be talked to by a giant stone head.
Huh. Which
was basically literally the face of the show. Because, his face was in the title card. It was literally in the title. But, at the end of the show, they would always... Well, there was... One thing is they would have to get across a river. Get across, like, this pool. And I can't quite remember how they did it. I think you were on, like, this... You might have been on, like, some kind of floatable thing and pulling yourself on the rope. If you lost balance, you would have to go back and tag your partner, and they would have to finish it. If both fall, they're out. It's basically an elimination until you're down to two teams. I don't know, maybe down to one team. Then you would have the questions and all that, and it would be like basic stuff like I don't know. What year did Columbus sail what year did Columbus discover America and stuff like that? Basic questions like that. And then you had the obstacle course, where you had to, and I freaking love this thing. I always wanted to be on the show when I was a kid. Always wanted to be on it. You would have to go through all these different rooms and find like a key and stuff like that. you had to find certain items. You find the key, it opens a certain door. If you found like this medallion, I think if you found this medallion, the hidden headhunters couldn't attack you. You had guys in there that would like grab the kids and stuff like that. I think no, you ran in there with a medallion. Oh, you ran in there with a medallion. If you had one shot. If they grab you, give them that, they'll leave you alone. But they catch you the second time, you're done. Yeah, your partner has to run in. Basically, you're trying to get through that. I think you have to find a particular item, or there's one room where you had to like piece together this monkey statue.
Sounds really silly and fun at the same time.
It was. It was fun to watch, and I believe you could see in the kids' faces that they were just having a blast in this thing. Although there's always that one kid who's just like, like he barely can breathe and he's about to keel over. The host was great. I can't remember his name, but he. This is back in the days when you just had like some great kid game shows, and they always had great hosts, like the guy from Double Dare, who, if you're familiar with Double Dare at all, you know how much of a messy game that is. You want to know something about the host? He had OCD. He had like a bad case of OCD, and he just, everything had to be straight and stuff like that. I just find it hilarious that guy was on Double Dare. He was the host of Double Dare. And oftentimes he would get dumped in the shit. Yeah, you know the Nickelodeon goop, which I always assumed was like toxic waste. I can't talk.
Alright, let's move on a little,
because we're
going pretty long on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Okay. Now, speaking of a network that changed, you could say it changed a lot because it doesn't exist anymore. Kids WB. Or just the WB, the channel.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it became CW after a while. Here
I thought it was WB for.
No. The channel was the WB. That was the channel. Then I think it here in Kerrville, Texas. For a while, the channel was just My 35. That's all it was. Then I think it became the CW, or then CW2 or something like that. I don't really remember how it went, but look at you just look at it as just this lost channel that I didn't really grow up on it, so I don't have a whole lot of attachment to it. But I know a lot of people who did, and not even just Kids WB. I know people who was watching shit like Smallville and I don't know their dramas and sitcoms. I think there was some show called Seventh Heaven, which I don't remember if it was a sitcom or a soap opera. I don't remember. But the WB, its regular channel, I've never cared about because it was just Fox diet basically. Except it was more. You had more dramas on WB than you did on Fox. Fox had dramas, but I'm just saying you had more of the slice of life dramas and stuff like that. Yeah, where Fox was showing like I don't know, Battlestar Galactica or something like that, where they would show like I think they showed Star Trek for a while on Fox. That might be more back in the 90s.
I wouldn't know because I didn't watch the channels.
That was the 90s. But WB, what shows? I'm trying to remember on Kids WB back in '97 what they had. I think they just showed Looney Tunes, and I think they brought back some of their properties that they put on other networks. So Batman, I know the New Adventures of Batman and Robin was on there. Batman Beyond was on there, but that was a few years later. And of course, basically, it made the network for a lot of people. Pokemon. Pokemon. Later on, you had shows like Lucha Lucha and Jackie Chan Adventures, which I rewatched it. That's actually pretty good.
Wait, which one?
The Jackie Chan Adventures.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It was actually
Jackie
really
Chan's
good.
fucking amazing.
Which, what, did Jackie Chan do the voice?
No.
He did not? Okay.
He did not do the voice.
But I remember him like on TV and all that, promoting the show and all that.
He'd be like on after and do a little
Oh
talk.
yeah, he did. Like, what was it that he just...
Usually at the end of the show, he'd usually like address a question or something. And
Oh,
that was
yeah,
like the end of it.
While the credits rolling, they would split the screen, and he would be on like the right side answering fan questions. Yeah, I remember that. I don't think they did that on on Cartoon Network. I don't think they did that, but on
No,
KWB. Oh, okay.
I did because I know I didn't watch it on KW. I watched it on Cartoon
Are
Network.
you 100% sure?
I want to say that's where
You could have just easily been watching WB.
I don't remember.
Oh, you know what just popped in my head?
What?
Tanami was on Kids WB for a little while.
It was?
Yeah, I think it was during the summer. Because that's the first time I got to see Tanami, like at home.
Oh.
I would have to go to somebody else's house to watch Tanami, but because I didn't have Cartoon Network back then. But yeah, but it was all stuff. It's all the stuff WB already had, like your Batman's, your Superman's. Jackie Chan was on there. Mucha Lucha was on there. Something called Card Captors was on there. So there was a few anime on there. Pokemon was definitely on there. But it was for a short while. I don't think it lasted. I don't think they did it for very long. Which is funny. When I heard they were bringing Tanami to Kids WB, I was like, awesome! I get to watch Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing and stuff like that.
No, you didn't get there. You didn't get their lineup. You got.
Well, no, they did bring Dragon Ball Z over, but
okay.
It was all stuff from season 1, or not season 1. That dull period between the battle with Vegeta and when they got the Namek. So it was that dull period. Or no, wait, no, it was before the Battle of Vegeta, because I remember Goku running down Snake Way to get to King Kai's planet. So okay, out there, but I guess they did play through the Vegeta battle, and then because I remember they got the Namek, and that's when they stopped showing it. By the way, I saw those episodes so many goddamn times because Cartoon Network would just play. They would get to a certain point, and we're starting back over. But they wouldn't go back to like the first episode. No, that would have made too much sense. No, it's the episode right after the battle with Vegeta. So you would have to watch freaking Krillin, Bulma, and Gohan collecting Dragon Balls on another planet. No, none of that. That's right. They found their way to a fake Namek, and they were collecting fake Dragon Balls, and then they found out, oh, it was a trick. And I don't know. Right now, I think of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Say, wait a minute, Nameks don't have penises. I'm sorry, that's what popped.
Okay, kind of creepy, but moving on to the channel.
I'm scared. Did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged?
No, I didn't watch.
Okay, it's hilarious. It was some throwaway gag earlier in the show when they talked about how when Nappa said something like, "Dude, I don't think Nameks have penises." Something like that, where Piccolo's like trying to say that Nameks are a proud warrior race and all that. It's like, no, you don't have dicks. Like, God damn it. Something like that. Okay, anyway, moving on from Piccolo's dick. Okay.
Yeah, moving on.
Anyway. What else was on Kids WB? Mucha Lucha, I remember bits of it. I didn't watch the show a whole lot, but enough to remember the Flea.
I think that's the only one that really made it was the Flea, because it was like, I'm the Flea, I don't bathe. Ah.
Was he racist? Was that character racist? I don't know. I'm sure somebody would have claimed it, but I don't know. You can say something about dirty Mexicans and stuff like that, but I'm yeah, I'm not saying it's racist. I'm just saying somebody's bound to have complained about it.
Of course, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, somebody's complained about it. But what else? I don't remember. Well, okay, Yu-Gi-Oh! That was on Kids WB. Didn't watch it, so. Oh god, there was one show, Lunatics Unleashed. Remember Lunatics?
I didn't watch that channel.
I thought
No.
you watched
Oh.
nothing but Cartoon Network.
Yes. That's what I've been trying to nail in your head.
I keep forgetting that. Sorry. But yeah, there was this. Basically, they tried to make an action show out of the Looney Tunes. They took all the Looney Tune characters and made them superheroes. Except they didn't play it up for laughs. It was straight up serious. Yeah. Oh, by the way, they all dressed up like they were rejects from Tron Legacy. That's
So it sounds like it's trying to have a decent concept and it just threw all over itself.
Yeah, just the idea. Why the Looney Tunes? You could have.
Because people like them.
Well, here's the thing. They basically zapped away their personalities and just made a generic action show.
No, and
It was lame. The second season, they tried to make it more action comedy. It still failed. It's just there was no
redeem.
There was no reason for this shit. It was, I don't know. It was pointless. The show had no reason to exist. That was near to the end of Kids WB. I remember because my friend was making a big deal out of this that they stopped showing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! Finished on Cartoon Network. I think, I'm not sure, but I think that's something he was talking about. But let's see. What's next? We talked about Disney. We talked about Nickelodeon. We talked about Kids WB.
Well, I almost said Cartoon Network for last. We can talk about Boomerang, but Boomerang
I
just
got-
shows reruns.
Well, I got one. Of course, the thing I grew up on, Fox Kids. Fox Kids, I think, came around in 1990. I want to say 90, 91, somewhere in there.
I don't think I know. I think the only thing I know of is Sonic's GX thing or whatever the fuck that was.
That was Fox Box.
Okay, that was the Fox box.
But I would say the same thing, but it really wasn't. Because Fox Box focused on a lot on children's anime. You know, your Sonic X's, your Sonic X, your Ultimate Muscle. I think Beautiful Joe had a show on there.
Kirby did.
Kirby coming right back at you, something like that. I remember the advertisements for it. The only show I remember that was good from the Fox box was TMNT. The 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was probably the closest that you would ever get with a TV show. It's the only Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show you're going to get that's remotely close to the comics. Because really, you can't make a kid show out of the comic. Well, actually, you can because they did it multiple times. But being a faithful adaptation, and even this wasn't that faithful. But it stuck closer to the darker tone, to the more serious tone. It still had comedic episodes and stuff like that. I remember just falling in love with it just because it was a version of Ninja Turtles I never saw before because I didn't read the comic book. To me, Ninja Turtles was, Ron Paulson as Raphael and, Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as Shredder and stuff like that. Yeah, he was played by, I'm trying to remember his name, but the guy who played Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince, James Avery. Which I don't know. You can't top that. You can't top the comedic value of that. him and Krang, it was amazing. You wanna know something that kind of blew me away? In one dub of Dragon Ball Z, the person who did the voice of Krang was the voice of Frieza. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, Frieza, one of the best Dragon Ball Z villains, sounding like Krang. I would love it if he would have done the mannerisms, like the little croaks and stuff like that. Just the that would be weird. But anyway, I can't remember what dub that was. It wasn't Ocean, and it wasn't Funimation. It definitely wasn't Funimation. But anyway, but the 2003 Ninja Turtles, I think that was the only good thing from Fox Box. You had garbage like, okay, One Piece was okay. I remember.
What was SWAT Cats on?
That was Cartoon Network back in the 90s.
Okay, that's why I know it. I was like, how do I know SWAT
That was,
Cats?
and they show it on Boomerang.
Okay. So that's why I know that show. Okay.
But Fox Box, you had One Piece that was okay. You had Shaman King. I thought that was dog shit. When was? Oh wait, I forgot one from WB. Shaolin Showdown.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
how the fuck do I know that? Was that on
It was
Cartoon
on Cartoon Network.
Okay.
I think season 4. I think like season 4 was aired on Cartoon Network. That or no, that's right. They just showed the entire show on Cartoon Network after a while, but
That's Mr. Yellow Skin, Big Head,
Yeah.
Big Dots. Guy who I was like, is that Krillin? No, that's not Krillin.
but it was like a Shaolin monk.
Yeah.
That was a great show. I can't. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I don't know. I remember there just being a lot of creativity with that show and all that, with the fights and what was it, the things they had to collect.
They were just artifacts, I believe.
Yeah, but they had a name, Shang Kong Wu or something like that.
I think you're close to it.
Shangang Wu. So yeah, I'm close, but I can't quite remember. But anyway, with Fox Kids now. Fox Kids, I associate that network with one show mostly. It's on my shelf. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's where it premiered. It was a staple for Fox Kids up until it was bought out by I think that was about when it was bought up by Disney.
Disney bought it?
Bought Power Rangers, yeah.
Disney bought Power Rangers?
Yeah, they still own it, as far as I know. No. Nickelodeon owns it, or Universal owns it now. So now you see Power Rangers on like Teen Nick and stuff like that. Or actually, I don't know. It might be on the regular Nickelodeon for all I know. But yeah, that was a staple of Fox Kids, was Power Rangers. Also, the Marvel shows. You had Batman the animated series there for a while. That's when they still had to deal with Warner Brothers. You had Animaniacs and Tiny Toons on Fox Kids. Once that broke away, they started to focus on Marvel shows. So the first one was, I believe, X-Men the animated series, which is one of their best. It was one of their best shows, and to this day, I still think it's a great show. It doesn't really hold up. I mean, it's clearly outdated, but it was a really good show, especially for the time. I mean, dealing with the whole themes of prejudice and all that. It had a little bit more to it than the typical action show at the time. This is still during the era of like G.I. Joe and stuff like that. A little post G.I. Joe, but a lot of shows were like that. But like G.I.
Just
Joe,
action.
kind of generic. This one actually, it dealt with like the hardships of being different and all that. So
Well, that's
credit
what
for
X Men
that.
was mainly about. Was
Yes, that's its whole thing. But to see a kids show like that back then, focus on stuff like that, of course I wasn't thinking about that at the time. I was thinking, oh, I was like, oh, Gambit's badass. I was all in the like Gambit and Wolverine, and I must have been the only kid who liked Cyclops because everybody else I talked about, they hated Cyclops. I don't know. The Cyclops from X Men Evolution was a douchebag. That's the one I don't care for. But the I don't know. Well, my favorite character turned out to, even when I was a kid, was Beast. I don't know. I've always liked Beast. But other shows, they had Spider-Man the animated series, which I feel like a lot of people give that show a little too much shit. There's people who like they have that nostalgic feelings for that show and stuff like that. Then there's people who just says, "Oh, the show was dog shit." Not really. No, it wasn't. There was you can make fun of it. It's easily rippable. It's easy to make fun of that show because sometimes the show did have it coming at times. But I think this was more confident than other shows they had, and I'm talking about in animation. Go check out the first Fantastic Four cartoon on Fox Kids. I swear to God, there's a scene where Nimoy, the Sea Mariner, basically the Marvel equivalent of Aquaman, except he's a bad guy or anti-hero, whatever the fuck you want to call him. They were doing that, the old story of him, kidnapping Sue, the Invisible Woman. There's a scene where he jumps. I swear to God, he jumps. His shadow moves with him, and you can see his shadow on the night sky. Like it's above the buildings into the sky. It's obviously a hiccup with the animation, but it just looks so weird.
someone was just like, whatever, we allow it.
There was a shot where the thing was going to bust through a door. You see the debris, but the door never leaves.
So,
The door never leaves the frame. So it's still there, but you see the debris flying. But I don't know how to describe this. He phases through the wall around the door, but you still see the debris break away from when he crashes through the door. It's just animation hiccups that I love to point out. I don't know. I find that stuff hysterical.
as an animator, I actually kind of wanted to see it.
I'll see if I can find the clip for you. But there is so many hiccups in some of these shows. Spider-Man and X-Men. X-Men is mostly coloring errors. For some reason, in one shot, Wolverine be wearing his mask and his mask is yellow and black. And for some reason, his face will turn yellow. His skin would turn yellow.
I think that's probably some miscommunication with someone, probably.
Now, I think that it's just a coloring hiccup. That stuff happened back then all the time. It's not now where you have everything done digitally and all that. It's not like now where you can catch that stuff quick. And a lot of those stuff, I don't even think occurs anymore. But that's why I think a lot of those old shows have a charm to them, because they're kind of shitty looking. Oh, by the way, you gotta look up the theme song to Fantastic Four. It's hysterical. Just because of what they're showing on screen in the music playing does not match. I'll show you it after we're done.
Okay.
But some other shows, they did Iron Man, which had the most kick-ass metal theme song ever for Iron Man. And I'll show you that one later too. But you had Iron Man, that was pretty good. You had, I think one of the last ones they did was Avengers United We Stand, which it was like the B Squad. It was about the B Squad. They were led by Hank Pym, the Ant. The Ant. I'm trying to remember his name. I think it was just the Ant. I think was his name. No one gives a shit about Hank Pym. Nobody has. It was just his creation. Hell, he wasn't even a superhero when he was first made. You want to know his power? He can shrink.
Wow.
And talk to ants. Yeah, everybody makes fun of Aquaman. At least Aquaman has super strength. He has impenetrable skin. He has aquakinetic powers where he can make weapons out of water. Even from like the moisture in the air, he can make water swords.
Don't worry. We'll just make fun of this guy and don't remember that one.
I mean, Aquaman had all these like badass powers that everybody forgets about. What does Hank Pym have? He can shrink and talk to ants. That's all he can do.
Hey, talking to ants could make it different. Talking to bullet ants and then throwing them at people, that's fucking hurt. That can kill a person.
And I don't think his name is just the ant. I think there's more to his name, but Ant-Man. It was Ant-Man. Duh. I couldn't remember that, but for some reason,
name.
Ant-Man. You want to know who the original Avengers were? I'm just a side note.
Who?
Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. Forgetting. Notice something missing? No, Captain America.
Yeah.
But hey, back then Captain America was still stuck in the 40s. It was still stuck in the 40s fighting Nazis, so they couldn't really put him in there yet.
Oh, okay.
They didn't establish the whole, frozen and all that. They didn't establish that yet in the comics, so that wasn't a thing yet. And their first, like the movie, their first villain they fought was Loki. I'm still not quite sure.
Okay, this was the show you were talking about.
Yeah, React.
The
videos on YouTube are cute, but
I don't know, turning it into
they have challenges and stuff like that they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
I watched one where like teens react to 80s fashion, and it was hilarious. Probably because
come on, look at you can get any age group reacting. God.
Seriously, how would you respond to shoulder pad T-shirts?
I'd be honestly speechless. I mean, be like, hey, that's your thing, but come on, there has to be some point in your mind that says, I look stupid.
Yeah, even at the time, but one kid, I love one kid's reaction. We'll get back to it, but one kid's reaction I love, and he's like, he is in love with this stuff, like all the bright neon shit. The parachute pants and all that.
Hey, I can understand parachute pants. Fucking baggy pants are comfy.
I think I actually might have some pair of parachute pants, but anyway, other shows from Fox Kids. Fuck Ant-Man. Seriously, fuck him.
Dude, he's gonna throw a bullet at that.
Nobody cares about Hank Pym. Anyway, he was the leader of the Avengers in the Fox Kids cartoon. I can't remember who else was in it. Well, obviously the Wasp was in there, but I can't remember the other characters. I remember the toys looking badass, though. I'll say that. The toys look badass. Hey, I was 10.
Okay.
Or actually, no, I was like 8 or 9, but whatever. Other shows they showed they had some comedies like Eat the Cat, which it's horribly dated. I mean, there's references to Prince and Madonna, and you can tell it was made in like 1990 or like 1991.
That's the problem with referential humor. It dies.
It's there's some stuff where it works and it's always going to be funny no matter what the context. Like I'm sorry, like some of the clips you see on That Guy with the Glasses and stuff like that. Some of those clips I think are always going to be hysterical. The obvious clips excluded because, come on, how many times can you see the of course clip? That joke was killed, raped, and dragged through the mud beyond all recognition. But anyway, hey, it's not Doug's fault because he put a stop to it long ago. But everybody else started doing it. But anyway, But yeah, some other shows on Fox Kids was this was kind of before Fox Kids, but there was Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates, which was actually a really, really good show. And probably the closest to the original story as you're ever going to get. It was a really good show, but that was a little before my time. No. Yeah, a little before my time. If not, I was like a year old when it was on. But trying to remember some other ones they had. Digimon was on Fox Kids.
How the fuck did I see it?
You probably saw it on Fox Kids.
How?
You're telling me you didn't have Fox?
No, I'm pretty sure I did, because I can remember some of the episodes. I think I can remember the first episode.
You've had to have watched it. I mean, the only other channel was on
I think I know. I watched it on tape.
Okay.
Because that's when I was playing Pokemon and shit. That's when I was finding anime.
I
shit.
I have some episodes of Digimon on tape. But anyway, I'm just saying you probably came across Fox Kids at some point. Depending how old were you when you first figured out how to use a remote?
I never changed channel, sir.
You never do?
I never had to.
You never had to.
I owned the TV. The TV was a part of me, and no one else was able to touch it.
So wait, you didn't have a remote, so you didn't change channels?
No, actually, yeah, we didn't have a remote. We had to do it on the stupid TV.
Yeah, I remember that shit. That's one thing that I think it took me half an hour to figure out is not on my new TV. There's no buttons on it because it's all, it's not a plasma screen, but it's all like high, doing shit. I don't know what else to say. But on Fox Kids, you had shows like the ones I mentioned, but you had other ones like Digimon and I'm trying to remember some. I'm running on blanks here. I think I pretty much went through all the big shows. Oh yeah, The Incredible Hulk was on there. Forgot to mention that one. And by the way, all these cartoons were connected. Like how like the Marvel movies are connected. That's how it was back then with the cartoons.
So they always had the connection. That's interesting.
Yeah, because like Captain America, who never had his own show, how could we have gone this long without Captain America not having his own show? If you look at it, he's never had his own show. I mean, to this day, now that I'm thinking about it, it just astounds me now. I don't know, maybe kids won't get into Captain America as much. I don't know. But Captain America would pop up on X-Men. He would pop up on Spider-Man, The Incredible Hulk. Iron Man would pop up on Spider-Man, The Incredible Hulk. I don't think he ever popped up on X-Men though. But oh yeah, Silver Surfer had a show, but Captain America didn't. Another show, The Tick, also based on a comic book. You gotta find The Tick. That is a great show. It's hilarious. The character The Tick, he's just, I don't know how to describe him. He's like just this big blue doofus who he is just a Tick. There is no secret identity or anything like that. He is justice 24/7. He is a superhero 24/7. He does not know how to turn it off. And he's an idiot. But his heart's always in the right place. He's always dedicated to doing the right things, protecting the weak and all that. But he's
just stupid at how he does it.
Yeah, he is incompetent as all hell. But he still figures out like the stupid way to fix the problem.
There's a better way of solving it, but
he'll do it the stupid way. But that's why he has Arthur with him. Arthur is the brains. I remember him because I remember liking that character because when shit got crazy, he was like, "No, I am going to die. No, I am not. We're going to fight. Oh, we're going to fight a freaking Godzilla monster? Hell no. We'll finger somebody some other way, but we're not fighting that freaking thing head on. You know, he wasn't stupid. He knew he was small and squishy, and not in the best shape. You should also check out the live action Tick show. That was really good too. I mean, come on, they fight an evil Russian robot. Oh, by the way, it has the voice of Joe Swanson as the Tick. Not in the cartoon, but in the live action show.
Okay,
the live action show, he plays the Tick. I can't Patrick something. Yeah, you've heard his voice like 1,000 times. He's the thug in the Emperor's New Groove. He's Kim Possible's gym coach or principal. I can't remember. He's Joe Swanson. He's Brock Sampson from Venture Brothers. So yeah, Brock Sampson is the Tick. I just know his first name's Patrick. It's Patrick something. I can't remember his full name though. But the original one, the Tick had so many great lines, and some of the most memorable stuff is some of the dumbest stuff.
Can you give me an example?
Spoon! He would just shout spoon. That was his heroic catchphrase. He would just shout spoon. Spoon! And he was I don't know. He was just sitting on a couch and was looking at a spoon. And that would be my heroic catchphrase.
Alright, gotta make something.
By the way, he's nigh invulnerable. Yeah, he is freakish strong, and basically he's indestructible. So, it was that or join the circus. Or pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Same thing. Except you get to dress up as a superhero. Well, shit, I really wish that's how wrestling was today. You know, like it was in the 80s. Where people looked like steroid monsters. Anyway, but I'm trying to think of some other things from the Tick. It was just a great show. I think one of my favorite lines is in I think it's like the 5th episode. I know, I realize it. Yeah. I think one of my favorite lines is from like the 5th episode. In the first couple of episodes, they were doing like an interview segment at the beginning of each episode. And I think one is the Tick he gets on one of his little tirades about being a superhero and all that, and he like grabs the camera and he's like, "I am just a sandwich, no toppings necessary," something like that. It's like, "I am mighty," and it's just.
So it has to be something I would have to see to probably.
Yeah, I'll show you some clips when we're done. One last one. That's Cartoon Network. How has it changed?
Oh God.
I mean, right now we're at a pretty good point.
It definitely picked up its shit. It was like, oh, whoops, we dropped the ball. Now, it's like, okay.
What was it, Seeing Real with Andrew WK? Yeah, because everybody remembers that guy. God damn. Yeah, he did one song. He did one awesome song, and that was it. Doesn't really deserve his own show.
I'm trying to think. There was a recent cartoon that Cartoon Network made that was for a October special. I think it was Over the Wall.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was a single special. I don't know if it was either during October or November, and it was by the people who. Fuck, I forgot what other cartoon they did. I don't want to say it was Flapjack, because Flapjack was.
What show were you talking about? Just.
I can't remember his name. Just because it was just a 25 episode long series. but
Yeah, I think you had it right, Over the Wall.
it was something like that.
Yeah, it's something like Over the Wall, and it was made by the same people who did Pan Pizza talked about it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's something called Over the Garden Wall or something.
Yes,
like that.
Over the Garden Wall was what it was. Yeah, it's got the garden, and it was just, you know.
Doesn't it have like Frollo as one of the main characters? You know, from Lord of the Rings.
The guy who, yeah,
The
actor,
yeah.
voices him, yeah, and you know, that was actually something that caught me off guard because it was actually good. I mean, would I have watched it if I didn't see the review? It was kind of slow.
I don't think you would have. I think you would have eventually seen it if you didn't see the review.
I would have seen it, but I wouldn't have honestly thought it was. I'd be like, okay, it's okay.
I have not watched it yet. I need to.
Yeah,
it looks beautiful, like just the backgrounds and all that.
Yeah. The characters themselves, Wart, which is the main character,
yeah,
is throughout it. I hate him because he was just so irresponsible how he treated his little brother. I forgot what his little brother's name was because it was his brother what really made the show great. Just because he was like a believable child.
Like he was all innocent and.
Yeah. And they were just going through this world trying to find their way back home.
Yeah, it kind of. Now never mind. I was going to say it kind of reminds me of Grave of the Firefly a little bit, but not really.
No.
Grave of the Firefly is kind of a depressing movie, so not
a very depressing movie.
You've seen it?
I've seen bits of it. Robert was busy watching it.
It's a great movie. It's depressing as all fuck. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, I would actually honestly have to recommend it because I mean it does start off really, really slow.
But it builds up.
Yeah, it definitely builds up very well. And just because of his little brother, honestly, I think that's what made it very enjoyable for a very slow episode. Because Ward himself was almost an unredeemable character till near the end. Because I hated him so much because he wasn't being responsible. He wasn't being a responsible big brother.
Yeah.
He wasn't taking action. He wasn't watching. He was letting his little brother do his thing. And
yeah.
it's just, you know.
And I think that was the intention, that you were supposed to be kind of like you were kind of wanting to slap him. It's like, hey, take care of your little brother. It just okay. Now that kind of really reminds me of Grave of the Firefly a little bit. Just in the whole idea of the brother kind of making the wrong decisions and stuff like that. Just in that regard.
And the other side character, which was the Bluebird, I didn't really honestly care all too much for.
Like I said, I haven't seen it, so I don't know who you're talking about.
But to the people who have probably have seen it, they're more likely will recommend it to you. It's definitely something that starts off kind of very, very unbelievably slow. But like I said, his little brother will make it all the way through enjoyable. All the way to the very end, and to what happens to his little brother is kind of a heartstring near the end.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it for you because.
Okay, good. Because I don't know. I need to see this. But from what I've seen on Cartoon Network, they really pulled themselves out of the gutter here, because there was a time where it was unwatchable, where the channel was just. They were showing shit like Chowder and Flapjack and all just these terrible shows. I think the last good show they had at that point, which I think was canceled, was I think one of the only bright spots during this period was Class of 3000.
I didn't hear about that one.
Some other shows was like, I think something about there's this kid who winds up having to go to an animal school, which, okay, apparently there's a thing.
Oh, my gym class, no, my I know what you're
Like
talking
Jim
about.
teaches a monkey or something.
No,
like
it
that?
was like my buddy. It was his friend with a monkey, and
Okay, I didn't really watch it. I saw like an
God,
episode
the
of it.
intro was so annoying.
It's just like really. There was one show I remember, and this kind of goes further back. Camp Lazlo. That was pretty bad.
It was mediocre.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty bad. I thought it was really annoying, and I think it's amazing that it came out the same time Foster's came out, which I still claim as being one of their best shows that has ever came out of that network. Of course, we grew up there. I didn't have it when I was a kid. I didn't get the channel until I was like 11 or 12 when I got it. But so I guess we kind of grew up on the same shows. You know, on Dexter Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo.
You know what? That was so weird. Every time I look at Powerpuff Girls, and I go, "Huh, that was." I really look at it. I was like, "What was the audience aimed for? Was it girls?
I think
was
it was
guy,
both.
or was it
It
both?
was both. Because
You know, 'cause
on
I
the
feel-
surface it looks like a girl show.
Yeah, like I feel no shame saying like, "Yeah, I watch Powerpuff Girls."
Because every episode is a villain getting the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah,
And I think there was even blood in that show.
bits. Yeah,
Yeah, little bits of blood. I think it's only when they knock teeth out.
yeah. There was like a little bit, and I think it was like a still frame or a slide hit or something
Yeah,
like that.
just.
Yeah.
And you can tell that the people who made that had a big affinity for anime. Because there's so many anime references in that show. I mean, just so many anime references.
You know, that's what's weird. Like when I look at Powerpuff Girls and then I look at My Little Pony, you know.
They kind of have a similar following, where the majority of the people who watched it were grown adults, be it grown men or grown women. There's some similarities there.
Yeah, well, I'm just always wondering, like, you know, why did people not have problems with Powerpuff Girls, but yet have problems with?
Well, here's the thing: it's because people are throwing it in their face constantly, and also it's just that much weirder.
I think it was during the time was like more around the internet, because Powerpuff Girls, I don't think you would see like boards or people being like, oh yeah, go watch Powerpuff Girls right now. What the fuck are you
There
doing
were still
for life?"
forums. There was still the internet still
Yeah.
existed. I didn't even really think about it, but the internet's kind of been around since like 1989.
Well, but I mean, I don't think like little kids would be on like, oh, you gotta fucking watch this right
Yeah,
now. What
I
the fuck
know.
are you doing
It
for
was
life?"
mostly adults, though. I don't remember it, but people told me that there was like fan forums and all that. I remember the outcry of betrayal when they did the redesign.
Oh, you're talking about the new.
No, I'm talking about the when they first changed the look. Back when the show was still running.
So when it looked more like Flash style?
No, we're talking about when they pulled a Batman the Animated Series on it, and they just kind of overhauled the overall look of some of the characters, made them like Dark Professor Plutonium looked a lot more Splockish. In the Powerpuff Girls, their heads got like massive, like bigger than they were originally. I'm not talking about the Flash animated one, which I don't care what anybody says. I like that. I thought that was really cool. No, I'm talking about the when they rehauled the art style. They did the same thing with Dexter's Laboratory.
I know it was more notable for Dexter, but I never remember Powerpuff Girls, and I didn't have a problem with it. I think I was just too busy enjoying it.
I think you just didn't notice it. I noticed it, but it didn't bother me. The other shows I remember was like shows like Ed, and Eddie and Courage, and you know, where would you put Samurai Jack in that category too? In that era?
When did Samurai Jack come out?
I want to say 2003.
I think it was a little later on.
No, I think it was like 2002 or 2003.
Was it around the same time? I thought it was later on.
No, I'm pretty sure. It's definitely pre-2005. It was definitely before 2005. I do not think it was 2004. I really think it was like 2002 or 2003. I'm I am leaning to 2002 because Tsunami was still on weekdays. It was still on weekdays when Samurai Jack was on.
Did Samurai Jack appear on Tsunami? Or was it on
I don't-
Cartoon? I think it was just on Cartoon.
It was just on regular Cartoon Network. It was a cartoon. It was done by those guys. You would see it on like Cartoon Fridays and stuff like that. But it was on Tsunami for a little
It made
while.
me so mad on the little Cartoon Friday skits when they had all the characters and the little building and stuff.
Mhm.
When Samurai Jack was the janitor.
No.
God, that made me so sad. Every time I saw that, I was like,
Are you talking about Cartoon Network City?
yeah.
I freaking love those promos. That was probably some of the. That was impressive to watch. Was those bumpers?
But I remember when it ended, it would have like Samurai Jack turning off all the lights, and then you just have him just stroll back. And I was like,
Are you serious? I've heard. Are you serious that it was like Samurai Jack?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, isn't there a janitor from Powerpuff Girls that's actually a character? Couldn't they have used him?
I think so, but yeah, I just remember it was Samurai Jack.
Wait, who? Okay, I got a question. Who do you think is the best janitor on TV? You have Scruffy from Futurama. You have Janitor from Scrubs. You have, although really those are the only ones I can think of.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Janitor with Scrubs because it's crazy. But
yeah, I like Sweepy or whatever his name was. I just said his name, but I can't
Scruffy?
remember. Scruffy. I just love that voice.
But getting back onto the topic for it.
Anyway,
Because we've talked about a lot of these shows a lot.
what was your thought of them taking Cartoon Fridays and no longer having an animated host and having having actual actors?
I thought it was weird. I mean, I was kind of young to where I didn't really care. I didn't really have much developed opinion and stuff. When I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna get my cartoons.
Yeah, but I think this. I can't remember when this was, but that goes with NC Real. Well, I'm just assuming you thought that was stupid. The whole NC Real thing.
I just never really cared. I was just like,
I wasn't watching during that era, so
because I think during that time was when I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna go watch real shows, and then I started getting really depressed because like I missed my cartoons.
because what's on there? There's fucking Law and Order. That's depressing. NCIS was good. Anyway, some other network. A lot.
I mean, because we could talk on and on and on and on and on about Cartoon Network, but I think we've already...
Have we done a Cartoon Network episode?
No, we had not.
We're going to do one. I'm just waiting for a good time to do it. I
should look up when Cartoon Network first started up and probably do like...
I think it would have been like around September, but I think we've already... Yeah. We'll look it up. Maybe we'll do one next year. We're going to do a Courage episode. I think that's going to happen next October, probably. Fits in with the Halloween period. But last time with Cartoon Network, let's talk about like its side. Because we're going to do Adult Swim month. We're going to do an Adult Swim episode. We're going to do a Tanami episode.
Yeah, so we'll save those. But we've already really said of how we kind of felt of the new Cartoon Network. Also, we did forget Hub, but I mean, that really makes the Hub channel.
Yeah, what's on the Hub channel besides reruns of Transformers and My Little Pony? But with Cartoon Network, I look at it as being the premier channel for anything animated, for anything cartoon related, because they are constantly experimenting. They are constantly trying new things. You really think any other network would have done something like Uncle Grandpa?
Nickelodeon.
I don't see Nickelodeon doing something like that. Not Nickelodeon of today.
Okay.
Just because that's a little too crazy. Keep in mind, Nickelodeon said no to Adventure Time.
Yeah, and they fucked up on that.
Yeah, it becomes one of the. I haven't looked at it, but I think it's one of the highest rated shows on Cartoon Network.
There was the other one that I needed to watch. Steven Universe.
Yeah, that one's really good.
I keep reminding myself, I need to watch Steven Universe, and I'm like, Adventure Time. I always forget. When I get on a cartoon craze, I always just like, I need to watch Steven Universe.
When you look at some of the shows that they got, Steven's Universe, Adventure Time, regular show, Gumball's actually really good. I never thought that in a million years that that would have been good.
Yeah, I felt pretty bad judging it based off the commercials and what I've heard from other people. When I actually watched one of them, so I was like, wow, this isn't that bad. It's watchable.
I love the mix of animation styles, and it's sometimes when it's something really striking, it's hilarious. The paper style. There was an episode where one character was animated in South Park style. Well, not exactly South Park style, but it was paper animation.
Yeah, in a sense.
Think Paper Mario. Think something like that.
Okay.
That was hilarious to see, just because it was just striking. Then it reminds me of that old. You would see this at the end of like Nickelodeon shows, back in the '90s, where one of the production studios had like this cut out eyes and cut out mouth and.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like near the end.
Yeah.
I don't know what it said, but it just had like the yellow bat or something at the bottom.
It just, it would show like 6 different kinds of lips, make like opening and closing to make a word, and the eyes were going
everywhere.
Yeah, it just looked really weird. But Gumball. I love seeing just those different animation styles just clash horribly. CG, claymation, flash animation, basically anything you can. I swear to God, there was one where it was just a rubber toy with somebody's hand. Like, seriously, it was like somebody's hand, a real person's hand holding like a rubber toy, and that was a character. I thought that was the funniest thing I ever saw. And it just comes out of fucking nowhere. You have no idea where this is coming. The people who work on these shows, they really nail random humor. Where you really do not see things coming. Look at Adventure Time. How many people were just completely confused by the first episode? And the second episode. Then the third episode. The fifth episode still never really made any sense.
You're confused all the damn time through season 1 and season 2. Till it starts getting the serious moments, then you're like, okay, I'm not confused anymore.
Then I found out, you want to know who does the voice of the Lynch?
Who?
Ron Perlman. Fucking Hellboy. Hellboy is the Lynch. I thought that was freaking amazing. And I'm a huge Ron Perlman fan. It's just, holy shit.
Did you pick it up or did you look it up?
I found it on a voice acting video. It just was thrown in there. And
he does a very damn good voice for the Lynch. Like, holy shit, that gives me like shivers when he does his lines. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that's when you get a seasoned veteran on there. I'm talking more in acting, but he's been doing quite a bit of voice acting, so he's not like a celebrity voice actor. He is legit. Yeah. He's legit.
What I have to say about a lot of these cartoons, I mean, they could definitely grow on you. Because I remember when I judged a regular show when I first was seeing previews and stuff. And
you're not really into referential humor.
Yeah.
I think it does it well. And granted, it's a lot of that. Oh my God, I remember that. But it's just some of these references. They have some clever references. Not all of them are. But it's just like, what kid? This had to be made for like us.
Adults, yeah. That's
people
when I saw.
of our age.
I was like, I know who you're really aiming for.
I mean, come on. I mean, Mordecai and Rigby are playing a Nintendo. They were playing a freaking Nintendo. All of a sudden, Working for the Weekend starts playing and shit.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, come on, we already know who the fuck you're aiming for.
And they're just having fun. They're having fun with it. I do love the Terminator
No.
parody that they did.
Now, was the writer of regular show writing the Teen Titans Go?
No, I don't know. I've watched.
I don't know who picked it up.
I finally saw Teen Titans Go for the first time. I don't get to hate. I just don't see how this show's hateable. I mean, really, it's just taking these characters and making them comedic, and they kind of already did that in the Teen Titans cartoon.
But the thing is that when we were hearing a reboot,
people were excited. They were thinking that hey, the Titans, but they weren't expecting like comedy skits and stuff like that.
Yeah, and honestly, I as a fan of Teen Titans, I honestly don't like Teen Titans Go. It's just it's so weird seeing the characters not act like the original characters, or not being characters, just being these tropes of
I don't know. I thought the show was funny. I really like how they do Robin, how he's just kind of this obsessive compulsive, just this obsessive compulsive character that it's all about rules and having things done this way. Because he's kind of like that in the show. He's kind of like that in the old card.
Yeah.
Oh, he's kind of like that in the regular show, in the Yoda show. Except he's way more serious than this. I don't know. I personally like the little shorts they do with DC characters and all that. I don't know what they had a segment where there was nothing but DC shorts, and some of them I wish were shows. I mean, for God's sakes, there was this one about I can't remember if they've ever changed his name. They might have because his name was kind of racist. Black Vulcan.
Oh, what did he appear on? What else did he appear on Justice League?
He's made appearances on Justice League, but he was on Unlimited.
I remember hearing the name, and every time I heard it, I just giggled a little. Come on, it's so stupid.
I mean, I hear Black Vulcan. You know what immediately pops in my head, and it's because of a particular show on Adult Swim.
What?
Yeah, Dangle, Dangle, Dangle.
Oh,
Harvey Birdman. Like, lightning in my pants. Dangle, dangle, dangle. But yeah, Black Vulcan. There was this segment with this short with him and his kids. Like his kids wanted to be superheroes and all that, and I wanted that to be a show so badly because I think that would have been great.
What did it do exactly? Like,
I can't really remember, but I just remember wanting to see a show of it so badly because I want a show about a superhero and his kids. He's like a superhero and he's still a dad and all that. I'm sure it's been done before, but I really want to see that.
It has. Besides
Darkwing Duck.
Oh, I'm trying to think of Incredibles.
Well, in comic books, you've definitely had characters that are parents. Look at I can't even remember his name. Red Arrow or Speedy, whatever you want to call him. He's in the comic books. He was a single dad. Former sidekick to Green Arrow. You ever watched Justice League?
I know I've watched it. But
Unlimited? Because he was a focal point on Unlimited.
Maybe.
Ever watched the show Arrow?
No.
Okay. I've been told that that's a really good show. I really should check it out, and I'm going to work on that. It's on Netflix. But I don't know. I just really would love to see that turn into a show with Black Vulcan and his kids. Just the way they did it, I really think it would be cool. But right now, I think Cartoon Network is probably, like I said, it's the premier channel for cartoons. They're constantly trying new things. They're constantly experimenting. They're not getting complacent. There's so many shows that they have on there that any other network would say no to. Or some other networks like, oh, we don't want that part of our image. And, there's so many other networks where they won't do this stuff.
They're really just the go-to to pick up on stuff. I mean, they still have the limits and say, hey, you still have to fit into this criteria and stuff.
Yeah, you can't go too far. That's one of those ones for.
pretty much.
Because I think a lot of people who watch those shows will go and watch like what was that? It was like a parody of Back to the Future. It was really good. I can't remember what it was. Like it was like this kid and his uncle and his
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. Yeah. That I think a lot of people who watch those shows winds up watching that. So if that's even on anymore, I don't know. Well, I think that's about it. We've covered basically everything we could.
Well, we didn't really cover adult channels such as Fox with Archer, Bob's Burgers. We didn't cover
Like FX and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some other show then.
But I mean, we were really just looking at from then to now how much